In this quick example of using jQuery selectors, we want to look at what it's like to apply CSS directly to an element that's been selected. So here I have some basic lore, some text. I have 3 paragraph and a few different bulleted lists. And if I switch over to my HTML page, the raw source code, you can see that I have just some real basic jQuery examples. Now I've gone in and I've loaded jQuery 1.9.1 directly from the jQuery website. I'm going to first come in here, use my $sign selector, and I'm going to select all my paragraphs, apply CSS, which is just a function that you can call with jQuery, and then I'm going to pass in a single value. Passed in font size, and the second parameter is 22 pixels. This will increase the font size of just the paragraphs. Reload the HTML page. And as you can see, now my font for my paragraphs is much larger than it was previously, and I have not affected the bulleted list. The problem with doing my CSS this way is I can only affect one property at a time. So it would take quite a while if I want to update 3 or 4 properties. So I'm going to use an object and pass things in via an object. You'll often see it done something similar to this, so you know you're still dealing with the exact same selector. This time we're going to use a colon, specify 22 pixels. I'm going to save, and you see that as it downloaded and got ready, it now applies. This is just as we expected by putting a comma at the end of my parameter, and I can give another name value pair so that I can change other things. For example, we'll change the color. To red. As you can see, it instantly went in and changed it. Let's look at a different example. Because my jQuery selectors have quite a bit of power what I can do. So for example, I'm going to choose my UL, and I'm going to use the pseudo selector for the first, so it finds the very first unordered list. Change the font family. Now if I scroll down, you can see just the very first unordered list has the Arial as a font type. All the others maintain Times New Roman as it is for default. And I can change the same paragraphs after the fact. So for example, I'm going to choose paragraph, odd, using the pseudo selector. Now inside the object where I have the odd paragraphs, I'm going to choose the font size to now be much smaller. Now I'll specify a background color. Notice here, instead of specifying the color by name, I specify it by hexadecimal value. And when I go in and reload, you can now see that this one paragraph has been heavily modified. I overwrote it because this command came after my initial command. So it's one of those things that if something is not working the way you expect, you may want to check to see where was it positioned in the list of commands, because the last command is going to be the one who sets the final property setting. Now this is different than applying a class or something like that, because these commands actually go directly on the HTML tag. So for example, if I come in here and inspect the element with Firebug, you can see I have my P for my paragraph tag. I then have style, and then I specify what my style is. If I come in here, this is the paragraph tag that is odd. You can see it highlighted inside my browser window. And you can see how I've specified different colors and font sizes, and they've overwritten them. And I don't have repeations. So it's not like I say font size is 22 and specify that font size is 10. I simply have only that value displayed one time. So it's a very efficient way of doing this. This is not saved inside my HTML page at all, so that it has to be reiterated each time. However, it also makes the HTML size just a little bit smaller because I don't have all these styles, but it does allow me to be very specific if I need to be based upon what content I have. And that's just a simple example of applying CSS directly with jQuery.